Well, of course, there's huge relief over the death of Osama bin Laden, the fact that the guy is no longer the threat that, and maybe he wasn't quite the threat we perceived him to be. He seemed like he was a kind of a tired old guy who was talking a good game, maybe going to blow up a train or two, but a lot of that could be talk. The fact remains that symbolically, as far as terrorism in this country and throughout the world, that he is a terrible sign about how vicious and so much damage can be caused. So maybe we're thinking, well, hey, we're glad it's over. Now we through with the terrorist threat. Well, of course we're not. Bin Laden is going to be a presence in our lives in his death like he was in his life. Every time you bend over to tie your shoes at the airport after being strip searched, every time you stand in line when I do at an LSU football game and have to have all your luggage, all the bags you have gone through, every time the long delays at the airport, that's going to be a continuing presence that fellow is going to cause. He did horrific financial damage to us in the world, probably more so. If you add up all the costs of the Iraq War, the Afghanistan War, the sluggishness of the economy, what it cost to bail out the airlines when people quit flying, you put a pencil to all that, and the guy did huge economic damage. Where he also hurt us dramatically is in the compromising of our basic constitutional rights, our freedom. There was no conspiracy to take away our rights, but quite frankly, this Patriot Act, as I've talked about before, is a terrible example of flying in the face of what our forefathers fought for. That's one of the reasons we left and fought a war with England, because of their intrusion in individuals' personal rights. And what I'm worried about, quite frankly, is, well, the world's more dangerous today out there. We've got to be careful. We've got to compromise. We've got to see what's on your cell phone. We've got to see what's on your computer. We don't have to have a judge sign an order to do that search of your car, of your home. Every month or so, there's more erosion of our basic constitutional protections. We're losing our civil liberties at a huge rate. And there's no party affiliation with the people involved in this kind of thing. Under the Clinton administration, there was a big move to institute many of the things that were put into the Patriot Act. He was not successful. Republicans and Democrats rebelled. Then after 9/11, Bush was successful in putting through this atrocious Patriot Act that so compromises your individual rights, your individual principles. And so then when it expired, of course, because of the threat, we kept hearing about, oh my gosh, we're in this danger. There is so much going on that should so concern so many Americans, that these invasions of our personal privileges and our rights were continued to expand with a whole variety of laws that, and they're continuing all the time. So Osama bin Laden, you're dead, but you still are curtailing our freedoms. You've hurt us economically. You affect how we can travel, how we can do so many things in our lives. And so whether we like it or not, this guy is going to be a presence in our lives for many, many years to come. Hey, I'll be right back right after this message.